It is 5 o'clock. I hereby call this regularly scheduled session of the Logan County Board of Education to order. It is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Myself, Mr. Mark Keyser, Mr. Ralph Rodigario are present in person. Dr. Pat Joe White is participating by phone, and Mr. Craig Markham is absent this evening. So there being 4 out of 5, we do have a quorum, so we can proceed. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. And we'll ask Mr. Jimmy Porter to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you very much. You may be seated. All right. On to communications. There are no presentations or reports, correct? All right. So we'll go on to public speakers. First up on the public speakers, we have Miss Rhonda Farley. Ms. Farley, you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. I'm here today to speak about an ongoing concern I have regarding how complaints are being handled, what I've observed and personally experienced. It is not a consistent or fair process. Instead, it appears that only certain complaints are acted upon while others are ignored or set aside. This selective response undermines the trust when staff members of the community come forward. We deserve to know all concerns will be reviewed with the same level of attention, regardless of what the issue may be. I brought to your attention last week that a middle school employee was involved in a fraudulent scheme to obtain and use a WVSSAC coaching courtesy card. WVSSAC acted on complaint by having the card taken from that employee. But what have you done? I would say nothing, but you felt compelled to remove a whole coaching staff and place them on administrative leave from their coaching duties with only a verbal complaint and without real evidence or due process. So what you are saying is one employee can commit fraud with no consequences while others are on administrative leave, not getting paid, not even allowed on school property, cannot attend games, while the other employee who 100% knowingly and willingly committed fraud for who knows how many times and used a card for themselves +1 to attend sporting events. Sorry. I'm getting tired of coming up here and talking. But this is happening. I don't know how many times she used the card. She used it in this county and others, costing those sporting events money, and has nothing done to her, and maintains her job handling finances at the middle school. So explain that. I want to be clear. I have documented and recorded conversations that show these inconsistencies. This points to a pattern where accountability is uneven and is concerning where appointed officials are involved. At this point, the only thing that has truly impeded a proper investigation is by those in position of responsibility. When you sidestep issues instead of addressing them directly, you send a message that you are following personal agenda and oversight is optional and fairness is out the door. It is not. You need to be accountable. Misrepresenting facts, whether intentional or through neglect, only adds to the erosion of trust. You should not be targeting individuals while letting other things slide. It is about ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability in a system that serves our community. every complaint should be treated with equal seriousness. Even every concern deserves a clear and honest response. I urge this board and state-appointed individuals to take a closer look at how complaints are reviewed and acted upon. Establish consistent procedures and communicate openly, because I will continue to point out your inconsistencies. It's getting harder and harder to come up here and talk, guys. I'm not gonna lie. When you're attacking my parents. Stop following personal agenda and personal policy. And if you don't think it's happening, I'll play your recorded conversation that mentions personal policy and inform me by asking questions or speaking out that I could be impeding the investigation. Let me add that as of March 2nd, no investigation has started, despite the fact that records have been on board possession, excuse me, I'm getting emotional, guys, since October. Financial records have been with you all since October. And you can't count, can't look at it, don't know how to count. And other reports have been in your hands since February, but they keep getting shuffled. Sheriff's Department, board's office, state police. Where are they at now? So again, I ask, who really is impeding this investigation? Because it sure ain't me. Thank you.
Liz.
Next up is Mary Mango Mangus.
Conversation I've got over 40.
You have 5 minutes.
I'd like to ask again for an executive meeting to address the wrongful suspension of the softball coaching staff at CRHS. I would also like to know why, as a duly elected board members, you cannot, or more likely, refuse to take your constituents' concerns to the state board. As you have said, you can do nothing because the state board has taken over the county on behalf of those who duly elected you. I would also like to know why it is so, in this so-called investigation, is taking so long. The coaches have been and are being slandered, being accused of crimes that have already been proven false. Their reputations have been assaulted, and they cannot even defend themselves per your orders. These coaches have worked for well over 35 years for the youth of this community. If something is not done soon to clear them, then maybe it's time that public investigations are made by public people to inform the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Miss Goldie Belcher. Miss Belcher, you have 5 minutes.
Thanks, sir. Hello, everybody. I have a couple of quick things I just want to touch base on today. I have Miss White. I have a FOIA here for you. This is in regards to a bat situation at Chattanville Regional High School that occurred today. How policies were not followed and mismanaged, and a lot of different things were looked over or disposed of. Wasn't per your policy or per the state code 20-2-4, unlawful to take to maintain wildlife, which includes the bats. West Virginia DNR rules and regulations, federal DNR rules and regulations. The DNR was not notified. I know that for a fact. The health department was not notified. I do know that as to be fact. I have been on the phone with the state part of the DNR today and the federal side of DNR, the legal side of the DNR as well. Have had a conversation with the principal at a school. I was trespassed from the school today because during the conversation, I got the feeling that this bat was not disposed of properly per policy with the board, per policy with the state, per policy with federal regulations, that which has happened again since October of 25 when it happened prior. But I will tell you that I do have a for you here ready for you, Miss White, and I have things that I want explanations to for and about this situation and why it was not handled correctly today. And I want everything on here. I don't want the runaround. I don't want, you know, it's terrible that you have to present a FOIA to get any type of transparency, truthfulness, or anything. But if that's the way the route you want us to go, we will definitely go that route. But the bat was not extracted correctly, was not disposed of correctly. The command of chain of command was not in order, nor was it. I would like to know who gave the order to dispose of that bat into the dumpster, because that's where it was found, in the dumpster. I was trespassed, but I will tell you this. It is in the hands of the federal DNR now, this specific bat. So with that being said, it's funny to me how the cameras that are out back that are pointed toward the dumpster sit right in front of the softball building, and how these cameras can work so clearly when someone needs to be trespassed for doing something that, you know, in the good of the citizens and the students' eyes. And actually the DNR thanked me for this today, but how those cameras don't necessarily pick up things that they should be picking up. Is that a coincidence, or is that some type of, let me just rob Peter to pay Paul and turn my cheek when I need to? So with that being said, I expect some answers, and I would assume that you will be hearing from the federal side of the DNR. That's all I have for you guys today. Here's your FOIA, ma'am.
Held it to Peter tonight.
Thank you very much. And our final speaker tonight is Miss Leslie Cabell. Ms. Cabell, you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. Today at Chapmanville Regional High School, a bat was found. I called the principal after I obtained the video of the bat. I spoke to Rob Dial, and I was told that it was a dead bat from October. I was told that it was in a closet. By the FOIA that I received in October, when Alan Bucker was here, and nothing was done properly or by federal and state law. It is all documented in the FOIA that I obtained in October. Also, we have recordings and testimony from the principal and Alan Bucker that they did a full sweep of the school, fully cleaned, fully done everything, right? When I actually FOIA'd the DNR, also in October, and nothing was done or reported by the state appointed superintendent that was here, Alan Bucker, nor was it done today with our other state appointed superintendent. The parents are being treated like crap when they call, and I called and spoke to Eric here because she wouldn't get on the phone with me. The secretary wanted to get all the information and wouldn't transfer me to her. So Eric tells me that he's not going to put his job at risk for standing up for the community and the kids because he's not going to get fired. Yeah, somebody that's being molded to be the superintendent when the state decides to leave when they take all of the rest of our money. All of the FOIA information is actually can be turned into the federal side, which I have already done, and the DNR today. Per your outdated policies that you are running our school system on, how are you to tell me or to tell anybody in this county that a policy has been revoked or it's not been followed? You're holding outdated policies against parents, teachers, students, and taxpayers of this county. Also, why is $350,000 going to a rec center when you haven't even touched a softball field that was paid by federal dollars?
Title IX.
Title IX paid for that. My family fought for that school and that softball field as much as Chapmanville did. Now you're paying the rec center for these kids to play ball when they have a perfect field.
Beautiful.
That was already paid by our money, our federal tax dollars. You're not from here. We have Facebook information of a so-called, I don't know what he is, a deputy or somebody, that is using his authority to slander all of these people in our county. Taxpayers, people that's been part of this county. Eric, you know these people personally, as do you know me and my family. You wouldn't have Chapmanville Regional High School if it wasn't for Ernest and Bergie, my grandfather. Guess what? My son can't even play basketball there. Because what? That investigation was overlooked, was it not, Eric?
You can choose.
You received the paperwork just like Rob Dahl did. And no, I didn't send it, but it got sent to me. I know the DNR got it. I know Kentucky got it. Why is that being overlooked? This is politics and shady deals that is hurting our county, and you all are just sitting there doing it. That FOIA also had Miss Camille's name on it also. She knew all about the bats way before the kids even entered the school for the upcoming school year. And I do remember right after the DNR showed up, that's when we had a missing superintendent. So why are we still in the same shoes currently? You say that it had been dead since October? Well, the DNR and the pictures that were sent to them, highly, highly doubt it. Just saying, you're messing with fire.
That. Now we go on to item 5 on our agenda, comments on the proposed 26-27 school calendar. Any comments? We haven't received any comments from the. Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Ellis, as far as the calendar goes? Moving on to item number 6, approval of minutes. Approve the minutes from the meeting of March 10th, 2026. That meeting, all members were in attendance, and that's approved by the state board. Then we'll go to approval of action items, item number 7, and for that we will turn it over to Superintendent White.
7A is the proposed levy rates for the 2027 fiscal year. These are announced at this meeting, and then the financial piece will be completed at the April meeting. So in your packet, you have the proposed levy rate for the regular current expense levy. Those are listed. And then for the excess levy. So those are found. The regular levy will raise almost $8.9 million, and the excess levy about $8.6 million roughly. So those are in your packet, and those are from the state sends those. Okay. So they're ready to go. We have parent volunteers to approve from Chapmanville Middle, Logan Middle, and Man Middle. Those are listed in your packet as well. We are have an agreement with Mountain State Educational Service Collaborative for at-will board certified behavior analyst to provide behavior support for students. And that contract runs from March to the end of this year, $125 per hour as needed. Out-of-state travel request for Logan Middle School 7th and 8th graders to go by bus to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio, May 23rd, 2026. I think that's a Saturday and it's school funds. Last year, Logan County Schools delayed its textbook adoption for social studies for a year. To allow, I'm not, the counties were allowed to do that for various reasons, but they are adopting exploring social studies, West Virginia for grades K through 5, and that the cost of those textbooks is $96,000. That comes out of county funds. Buffalo Elementary School is going out of state travel. Their 4th grade class to Malibu, Jackson, Ashland, Kentucky on May 16, 2026. It says 2028. We're going to correct that. And this time of year is generally when we sell. I think last month we talked about selling our buses, our older buses, and this month we're purchasing 5 new buses with bus replacement funds from the state. $652,000 plus 14 from surplus bus sales, and $80,000 from insurance loss of bus 20.5 in the accident. And then to make sure we could get all the buses, we had to put in $50,000, a little over $50,000 in county funds. The policies, the new policies are listed there that are on the second reading, as well as the updated policies. To date, we have received 0 comments on any of the policies. So the next regular board meeting will have be the 3rd and final reading. So that's when the board will vote to adopt them and get those updated. We have again, as we're updating this policy, we're going to have a license agreement with Neola. The first one that we have for the fall for catch-up, we've extended that one. So we're asking for a second one of up to 75 hours. We're not sure we're going to need that, but that will help us finish out the work. So they said there's still some policies we need to continue to review and update. And again, this is just the first wave. We have several waves of policies that we're going to be moving through. Finances, we didn't have any budget supplements or transfers this time. Invoices, county 1.2 million roughly. CARES funding, nothing spent there. CTE technical education, $30,269.65. Food service, $26,084.13. IASA, $2,193.24. Permanent improvements, $71,573.95. P card, no purchases, for a total of $1,354,148.62. Any invoices are available for review at the central office. You may make direct inquiries to Rhonda Justice, our treasurer. The personnel schedule is attached. For employment, we have 8 employments there listed. Medical leave, we have a bonding leave for a teacher. We have 3 resignations. Retirements, we have 5 retirements listed, professional. And on the service side, we're employing a substitute secretary. We have 3 people on medical leave listed there, and then 5 retirements. And I guess now it's time for my superintendent's reports. Just some things I wanted to let you know about that are academic in nature, and some other things that are going on. The curriculum team is finalizing the summer school plan. We're really excited about that. We have job postings for summer school teachers and other support staff will be coming out shortly. We plan to have programs for all levels, elementary, middle, and high. We haven't had middle for several years. And there will be abbreviated transportation services provided. So they might not go up all the hollows, but they might meet at the end of the roads, things like that. We're still working on that. But we'll be having more out and getting kids registered. We also have a planned summer institute for our teachers later in the summer. I think it's the first week of August. We're looking forward to that. It's a good time to just dive deep with some academic things with our teachers. Each school just completed an analysis and next steps of the middle of the year benchmark data. So we look at their benchmark data. We're getting ready to go into testing season. And most of our schools and the grades are showing progress, but we always have room to grow. Mr. Boveri provided a report about data and testing, just the ongoing trainings and testing times that are scheduled at all programmatic levels from 3rd grade to NOCTI. So our testing schedule, NOCTI are the tests that they take here at the CTE Center that gives them advanced credentials, and their testing window is actually tomorrow's the last day, and then they have some hands-on testing after spring break, and then makeups. PSAT is scheduled for April at Man, Logan, and Chapmanville. Man, April 7th, Logan, April 14th, 15th, and Chapmanville, April 20th and 1st. So that gives us data for our 9th and 10th graders, because the state test only tests 11th graders. So that way we can have 3 years of data to look at for our students. SAT school day, which is the test for all 11th graders in the state, that happens April 9th for us. So that'll be after spring break. Alternate assessment is for our students with significant cognitive deficiencies, and they will take that during the month of April as well. That's kind of a one-on-one testing situation. The general summative assessment, which is the test that all of our 3rd through 8th graders take. We want to encourage our kids and their parents to get them to bed early, and make sure they have a good breakfast, to get them to school on time those days. ELA for all the counties will be May 5th, is the testing date. Writing will be May 7th. Math, May 14th. And science, May 18th. Now, science is only 5th and 8th grade. And then the window for the GSA test closed, so it's May 22nd. So after the dates, we have lots of time to do makeups if needed. And then end of year benchmarks for grade 3 through 8 with iReady will be April 13th through 17th. K2, April 27th through May 12th. And then there's an open response writing piece that's also in March and April. So it's time when we're assessing our kids to see how much progress they've made, and we're hoping to continue to see the progress there. We have moved to a department-centered directors for finance. So as Ms. Evans is our academic officer and Mr. Ellis is our operations officer, both of them have assigned people from the finance office so that we can have 2 streams that do things exactly the same way, and it's really streamlined the process, and it's making sure we're double and triple checking all the purchases and things that go through there. So that's been a great help. So that helps us better plan our initiatives related to student growth and achievement, as well as our capital improvements that we need to do. We have full curriculum team and operation teams meetings every couple of weeks at the department or at the office, so that we can make sure that we're moving along. We have our curriculum team meeting actually today. Our next principals meeting, the last principals meeting, we talked about a lot of policies, especially those related to finance and sports were talked about and reviewed with the group. Our next principals meeting, we're going to talk about programmatic expectations for scheduling and team building, and that meeting policy 2510 and meeting the needs of children. So we're going to have a meeting on how to make effective schedules at the elementary, middle, and high school level, so that we can offer our kids as much as possible and be creative in how we can schedule things so that the kids have a well-rounded experience. We have completed the staffing season. Everyone who has been affected by roofer transfer has been notified. I met individually with each of the employees. There's a few that I didn't get because they weren't there that day, but either Miss Perry went back and met with them in person. I felt it was important, if I'm going to tell someone they're getting ripped or transferred, that they needed to hear it from me in person. That made us time so we could answer their questions and concerns that they had. There will be a special meeting for personnel hearings related to RIF and transfer only. So that's the only agenda of the meeting. It will be April 7th at 5 o'clock here. We have several employees who have chosen to do that. So those will happen. There will be a representative from the Department of Education here for those hearings. You all can certainly attend, but if your schedule doesn't permit it, we understand. So hopefully that'll be approved, and we'll be able to at that meeting we'll publish our proposed RIF and transfer meeting for list for approval. And based on the estimates of the RIFs and transfers we had to make, it's going to pull us closer to financial stability so that we're not going over the state aid formula or our levy that's allocated for personnel and getting into the contingency funds, and so it's hopefully we'll be able to stay within our state aid and excess levy rates for personnel. With Logan Grade School, I talked to the insurance adjuster today and they're gathering information to provide us with cost estimates. So they've had a few companies out to look at different components of the building, but they're still working on that. So I try to talk to him at least once a week. The LES and LMS, they're continuing to run well. Several elementary students said they love it over there. So that's been a smooth transition for the kids, and that's what matters, the kids. I want to say congratulations to the Chapmanville Regional High School boys basketball team on winning the state championship. We had 2 of our 3 boys teams that made the state tournament. Logan also made the tournament. They handled themselves well in that competition, and we hope to recognize them in a later board meeting. We also have nearly ready to put out to bid. We've worked with an architect on preventive maintenance work for the roofing and drains at all of our schools so that we can keep those roofs stable as or used as long as we can. But we're working on getting the maintenance, you know, so that things can get done on a regular basis. The drains will be cleaned and you know, inspections of the roofs and repairs as needed so that we can get as much life as possible out of some of those roofs. Many of them are near the end of life or are going to have to be replaced in the next few years. Spring sports have been started and seem to be flowing smoothly. Last night, Chapmanville and Logan were playing in a middle school, playing a softball game up at the rec center. And in addition, we will be reviewing our insurance coverage for our facilities and buildings and grounds in the next few weeks to make sure that it's adequate. You know, when you have things like a fire or wind damage, you start to look at your insurance coverage to make sure it's adequate. So we're going to be meeting in the next few weeks to make sure that we're taking care of that, so we don't, you know, have a catastrophe that may or may not be covered by our insurance. And that's all I have. So if you have any questions, I'm ready.
Couple if you don't care.
Sure.
How many was raised? How many teachers were?
The exact number, because
Roughly.
we're still roughly, you know, and then I'm thinking like, there's a lot of written transfer. And then, you know, we have to post jobs that people can bid back into. So we're looking at about, I think it was around 60 professional and 40 service. And those are rough numbers.
So from your experience, when you rip one, what percentage are called back from your experience?
Well,
When it's
you know,
taken.
originally, so, you know, I think originally like 60 is probably the net number.
Right.
Like we probably gave notices to about 80 people and there's about 20 to 30 jobs that they can bid into. So 60 is about what will be left.
Gotcha.
And again, there's variables like right now, you know, pre-K and kindergarten, it's always, you know, kids, parents will wait sometimes at the last minute. We've had some pre-K and kindergarten registrations in the county. That netted us about 100 students.
Mhm.
But, you know, sometimes those, you know, and again, if we get to a point where we see the need that we're gonna have to add another classroom, we're gonna add another subject level teacher, we'll do that. But, you know, we're gonna base it on our enrollment, not on, you know, just keeping it. So that's where we are. It's the same with aides and that sort of thing. If we, for example, if we, right now, if we have a kindergarten classroom that's looking like it's gonna be under 10, we don't have an 8, but if it goes above 10, we'll put an 8 in.
And
So,
that'll be brought back by seniority.
yes, yeah, there's very specific rules that apply to those things. So it's very seniority based, especially on the service side. On the professional side, it's your certification and seniority do play a role, as well as the faculty senate and the interviews at the school, because they do generally for teacher positions, they can interview those at the school level with the faculty senate and the principal.
Okay, and one more question. The grade school, are you getting estimates for the insurance just now given what they're going to pay? How's that?
Well, we're still, we received a couple estimates on continuing the cleaning. The roofing person was there and I was hoping they would give me a call, because when I talked to the adjuster, they were waiting because the decking that's used in our roof is, they don't make it anymore, so they have to figure out what they're gonna have to purchase to replace that. So he was hoping to give me a number, but at this point, we're still getting estimates on all the repairs, and then they'll let us know the amount of compensation we'll get for the, you know, the building.
Are we getting different estimates or just one person's giving the estimates? I'm
not sure it's the insurance adjusters handling that.
So they hire-
Brent handles that. Our
So you don't have to worry about getting
We
a
don't have to worry
contractor for
about
anything.
they're getting for the payment of the insurance, cost. They're getting those costs in and they'll, an adjuster looks at it and just like when you wreck your car,
Right.
you don't have to take it to 3 places. They kind of tell you, this is what we'll pay. And, but they've asked for a lot of things. They've asked us for how much our technology costs, how much those, to replace those computers and TVs and that sort of thing, what that cost would be, furniture, those sorts of things. So, they'll take those values and come up with numbers.
So if the cost is over what our insurance coverage is,
Well, that's,
are we responsible as the county or?
yeah,
How does that work?
I think, yeah, I mean, it's the way it is, if your car is, the insurance only pays this, you have to come
So
up
it's
with.
not replaceable.
Yeah, so our insurance does have limits,
Mhm.
on the policies of how much they'll pay, just like your homeowners and your car insurance does. So, and again, we'll know what we know and then we'll, have to, when we get those numbers, we'll have to sit down and think, what's the next steps?
Do you have the ability to get other estimates? If you see what the insurance companies want to pay, do you have the authority to have other?
I think we could argue with them and try to.
Okay. That's the way it normally is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's it's a moving target right now.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Any more questions? All right, we'll move on to public comments. Dr. White, I'll ask you to make the first set of board member comments. Thank you, sir. Mr. Rogerio, any other public comments?
Again, I won't repeat what he said. I'm very proud of Logan High and Chattanooga. And it seems like in our area, everything is hitting us, repairs on the roofs, left and right. And I can see how you get overwhelmed with all of it because I get overwhelmed myself. But I want to commend whatever job task that you all have in front of you, that you tend to it. I can ask you where we're at, what needs to be done, and you respond well. And I appreciate that. You too, both. Thank you.
Mr. Keiser.
Just reiterate what they said. Congratulations, Logan High School, Chattanooga, Chattanooga, bring home another state championship to the county. We've been, we've had good showing throughout the county for the last number of years. And, like you said, man, that's big attribute, public support. Everybody buying in. Congratulations to them. And I'm like Pat Joe, I look forward to being able to get the state champions up here and recognize them at the meeting. Appreciate all you guys for coming out the meeting, voice your concerns and opinions. Recommend when does the calendar finalize? One more meeting. You're in the speaker forever hold your peace. That's the reason why we do this. So we always get beat to death over stuff.
The calendar.
Nobody says anything and then we get beat to death. So if you got concerns on anything, comment, let us know. I mean, nothing that can't be looked at. So appreciate you guys. And that's all I got, Mr. D.
We're talking about the approval for the calendar.
It'll have one more
Right,
reading at the
okay.
next.
But what about other concerns?
Which I've looked at, and you've done a good job. I mean, the calendar looks good to me, but that's the reason why I have a comment. I think it looks good. But I mean,
I was at all 3 Chattanooga games. My daughter's a cheerleader. I haven't hid that fact. So I was very proud of her team cheering on the basketball team, proud of the basketball team. Proud of Logan for making as far as they did. My cousin, who is more like a brother to me, had a son, Mason Spence. He plays for Logan, was a starter. Got to hear his name called at the Coliseum, which is, something you don't forget. So that was special. Got in with my son was in the pep club and got down with the pep club as the time started running out and celebrated with them. And at the end of the game, we were everybody was celebrating, and for a moment, I thought to myself, what transformation we could make in our county if we started focusing as much energy, as much resources, and as much effort to all of the kids who don't play sports that do play sports, and the success of those kids academically, socially. I mean, you want to change stuff in the county, start shifting the focus. And don't get me wrong, I love sports. My wife will tell you, if one of her shows isn't on, chances are I'm watching sports. I love sports, love it with a passion. But what change we could make in our kids' futures, our community, and quite honestly, the world, if we started focusing as much energy and time and resources towards our kids' academics as we did their athletics. That's just my personal thoughts on it. And like I said, I love sports. This fall, I'll be watching the football team and my daughter cheer them on. I'll be watching basketball next year. Eric's going to kill me, but I'm not a big baseball fan. I never have been. Just kind of like watching paint dry to me. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. But I'm, if there's anything that I would like to see done, it's to shift the culture in our not only our county and our community, but the state. Because I think it's a state issue, and on a certain level, a national issue. And it's kind of hard to affect change that big from little old Logan, West Virginia, but it's got to start somewhere. Why not here? So that's my comment. Like it, don't like it. I'll be honest with you, really don't care because it's my opinion.
I want to add one more thing.
Go ahead.
And I also commend the people come in and speak what they believe. I commend every one of y'all.
That it?
Clear.
All right. For announcements, the only thing I've got is that this meeting will not adjourn. This meeting will go into recess because of the approval of the audit, correct? So we will go into recess. This meeting, the March 24th meeting, will reconvene April 21st. We won't have a meeting in 2 weeks because of the spring break. So we skip that meeting and then we just meet again on the 21st. We will reconvene at 4:45 on the 21st here at the Ralph R. Willis building to go over the finalization of the audit. And then we will adjourn that meeting. And then immediately after at 5 o'clock, we will convene our regularly scheduled meeting for that day. So no adjournment today. It's recess. We'll reconvene at 4:45 on April 21st, followed by a regular scheduled meeting at 5 p.m. Teresa, do I have all that correct? Thank you. Got to keep me in line on those since I didn't read the announcements when the packet was sent out. There being no further business before this board tonight, I need a motion for recess. Motion by Mr. Keiser, seconded by Mr. Prodigario. All those in favor of recessing this meeting indicate by saying aye. Aye. All All those opposed indicate by saying no. The ayes have it 4-0. Time in recess is 5:45 PM.